Part 3. In this part, you will hear 3 talks or lectures. The talks or lectures will be played once only. There are 5 questions for each talk or lecture. For each question, choose the right answer, A, B, C, or D. Then, on the answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Part 3. Questions 21 to 25. First, you will have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now we're ready to start. Listen and answer questions 21 to 25. You will hear the recording once only.
The company started 25 years ago. It actually opened as a retail chain selling camping equipment, and then, 20 years ago, it bought a small number of campsites in the UK and began offering camping holidays. The company grew rapidly and has been providing holidays in continental Europe for the last 15 years. If you book a camping holiday with us, you'll have a choice of over 300 sites. In Italy, we now have some 64 sites that we either own or have exclusive use of. France is where we have the majority of sites, and we currently have a project to expand into Switzerland. We also have a number of sites in northern Spain, particularly in the mountainous region of Picos de Europa. We've upgraded all these Spanish sites and improved them considerably from their original 3-star rating. We believe our holidays offer superb facilities for the whole family. Parents who want their children to be fully occupied for all or part of the day can take advantage of our children's activities. These are organised by our well-qualified and enthusiastic staff. Each day kicks off with a sports match, perhaps football or volleyball, followed by an hour of drama for everyone. This may include singing or dancing, mime or other activities. In the afternoon, there's a different art activity for each day of the week, including a poster competition or model making. What's more, our sites are truly child-friendly, and with this in mind, we operate a no-noise rule in the evenings. Children's evening activities usually finish at 9:30 or occasionally 10, and from 10:30, holidaymakers are expected to be quiet in the areas where there are tents. We want nothing to go wrong on a PS camping holiday, but if it does, we also want all our customers to be insured. If you haven't organised an annual insurance policy of your own, you'll need to take out the low-cost cover we offer, and we require that you arrange this when you make your holiday reservation.
Now you will have some time to review questions 21 to 25. I, 3, 2. Part 3. Questions 26 to 30. First, you will have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now we're ready to start. Listen and answer questions 26 to 30. You will hear the recording once only.
One of the most beautiful creatures in the forest is the deer. It lives pretty much everywhere in the world except for Australia and Antarctica. There are many species of deer. However, the one I want to talk about is the white-tailed deer. It mostly lives in North America. I'm sure that many of you have seen this deer before. I actually saw a couple of them near the road as I drove to school this morning. Anyway, the first thing I should mention is that we have different names for male and female deer. The male is usually called a buck. Some people call it a stag or a hart, though. That's H-A-R-T, not H-E-A-R-T. The female deer, on the other hand, is called a doe, and a baby deer is a fawn. There are several differences between stags and does. A stag is bigger than a doe. A stag weighs 100 kilograms on average. However, some of them can grow to be much larger than that. As for females, they average around 70 kilograms in weight. Another big difference between the two is antlers. Antlers are the long, sharp, pointed, bony protrusions on a deer's head. They begin as two short, stubby knobs. As they grow, they can form several branches that have many points. But only stags have antlers. Does don't have them. Oh, here's something you might not know. Antlers fall off every year. Stags lose their antlers during the winter, and then new ones grow during the spring and summer. Deer are mammals, so that means the mothers give birth to live animals. A doe has between 1 and 3 fawns when it gives birth. The fawns have white spots when they're born. For the first 6 weeks of their lives, they drink their mother's milk. Remember, that's another characteristic of mammals. But fawns don't exclusively drink milk. They can walk pretty much as soon as they're born, so they can forage for grass and other food right away.
Now you will have some time to review questions 26 to 30. Part 3. Questions 31 to 35. First, you will have some time to look at questions 31 to 35. Now we're ready to start. Listen and answer questions 31 to 35. You will hear the recording once only.
As I'm sure you know, there are 8 planets in the solar system. What you might not be aware of, however, is that we can divide these planets into 2 distinct groups. Astronomers call them the inner and outer planets. Some also refer to them as terrestrial planets and Jovian planets, respectively. The inner planets are naturally those closest to the Sun. They are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The outer planets, or Jovian planets, are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The inner and outer planets have a number of characteristics that make them different from one another. I'm going to go over them for you now. First, the most obvious difference is their size. The inner planets are the 4 smallest, while the outer planets are the 4 biggest. Jupiter is the largest, and Mercury is the smallest. Another obvious difference, if you think about it, is that the terrestrial planets orbit the Sun much more quickly than the Jovian planets. Earth takes 365 days to orbit the Sun. Mercury takes 88 days, Venus 224, and Mars almost 687. Jupiter, however, takes 12 years to orbit the Sun, and that's the fastest of the Jovians. Another clear difference is the number of moons that orbit them. Mercury and Venus have none. Earth has one, and Mars has two. The outer planets each have large numbers of moons. Let's see. Neptune has 13, Uranus 27, Saturn 62, and Jupiter at least 63. Okay, so what about the less apparent differences? One is their composition. The inner planets are rocky and have solid cores, which make them dense. The outer planets are mainly made of gases, aren't very solid, and aren't very dense. They're often called gas giants. Another difference is how quickly or slowly they rotate on their axis. The outer planets rotate quickly, which gives them short days. A day on Jupiter is about 10 hours, while Saturn's day is 10 hours 40 minutes long. Contrast that with Mercury, which takes more than 58 days to rotate once, and Venus completes one revolution in 243 days. That's longer than a Venusian year.
Now you will have some time to review questions 31 to 35. That is the end of Part 3. You now have 7 minutes to copy your answers to the answer sheet. That is the end of the listening comprehension test.